That moment of relaxation with a drink feels harmless, right? But what if it carries a hidden spiritual cost far greater than you imagine? What if that simple act, that nightly ritual, is systematically muting your intuition, silencing the crucial whispers from your soul designed to guide you? In this video, we expose the profound spiritual consequences of alcohol, how it can effectively block your soul radio, that direct line to your inner guidance, and crucially, we'll reveal how you can restore that connection and learn to hear your truth with undeniable clarity again. Have you ever felt lost, making decisions based on fear or confusion, wondering where your own deepest knowing has gone? We all walk this path seeking direction, don't we? In a world filled with noise, constant demands, and endless choices, the search for meaning, for purpose, feels more vital than ever. It's a universal human longing to know which way to turn, how to navigate the complexities of life, and find a sense of inner peace amidst the outer chaos. Deep within each of us resides a natural compass, an inner guidance system. Call it intuition, the voice of your higher self, the wisdom of your soul. It's that quiet knowing, that subtle nudge, that gut feeling that often speaks louder than logic, if only we learn to listen. Think of it as your personal soul radio, constantly broadcasting the frequency of your own truth, tailored specifically for your journey of self-knowledge and spiritual growth. Now consider alcohol. For many, it's a readily available tool, a way to unwind after a long day, to ease social anxiety, to temporarily switch off the relentless chatter of the mind or the weight of difficult emotions. It's woven into the fabric of celebrations and commiserations alike, often seen as a harmless way to relax or connect. The relief it offers can feel immediate, a welcome pause from the pressures we face, a seeming aid in coping with suffering. But here lies the crucial question, the one rarely asked in casual settings. What if this act of switching off does more than just numb the edges of stress? What if it also inadvertently lowers the volume on our most essential guidance system? Could this temporary relief come at a hidden spiritual cost? Could it be creating static on the very frequency of our soul radio, making it harder to hear the messages meant only for us? It's interesting to pause and consider the origins of the word itself. Alcohol traces back to the Arabic Al-Kuhul, which referred to a fine powder, but also carried connotations related to spirit, or even in some alchemical lore, a body-eating spirit, or ghoul. Perhaps ancient wisdom held an awareness, a subtle understanding, of the profound effects such substances could have, not just on the body, but on the deeper, more energetic aspects of our being. This isn't about judgment, but about bringing conscious awareness to our choices and their potential, unseen consequences on our spiritual connection. So, what truly is this intuition, this inner guidance we speak of? It's not the product of careful deliberation or logical deduction. It's more fundamental than that. It's a direct feeling, a quiet knowing that seems to bypass the analytical mind altogether. Think of it as a subtle sense, much like hearing or sight, but operating on the unseen level of energy and consciousness. It's the native language of your soul, communicating insights essential for your path of spiritual awakening and self-knowledge. Let's deepen our core metaphor, the soul radio. Imagine yourself as this intricate radio receiver. Your state of consciousness, your mental clarity, your emotional balance acts as the tuning dial. Your overall energetic state, your vibration, determines the quality of the reception. Are you tuned to a frequency of peace, love, gratitude, or one of fear, anxiety, resentment? The transmissions themselves, the wisdom broadcast just for you, originate from your higher self, perhaps from your spiritual guides, or from that infinite intelligence many call God, universe, or source. The mechanism is elegantly simple, really. When your mind is calm and your heart is open, the static diminishes. Your inner receiver becomes more sensitive, more attuned to the subtle frequencies of intuitive guidance. A higher vibrational state, cultivated through practices like mindfulness, gratitude, or spending time in nature, naturally enhances your ability to pick up these finer signals. It's like moving away from a noisy city to a quiet mountaintop. Suddenly, you can hear the faintest sounds with remarkable clarity. And while this might sound purely mystical, modern understanding is beginning to echo this ancient wisdom. Neuroscience is mapping the intricate connections behind what we casually call gut feelings, acknowledging physiological responses linked to intuitive hits. Psychology explores the vast realm of the subconscious mind, recognizing it as a reservoir of wisdom that often communicates through symbols, feelings, and insights that bubble up seemingly out of nowhere. These fields are, in their own language, acknowledging the existence of information received beyond our purely rational processing. Consider this brief story. A young woman had a persistent, uneasy feeling about attending a particular social gathering one evening. A little voice inside whispered caution. But friends were going, she didn't want to miss out, and a few drinks beforehand helped silence that nagging feeling, replacing it with a temporary cheerful buzz. Later that night, an unpleasant incident occurred at the gathering, something her intuition had clearly tried to warn her away from. In the fog of the alcohol and the desire to fit in, the crucial signal from her soul radio was overridden, the volume turned down until it was unheard. And here we touch upon a profound point, a wise moment to ponder. Just as a physical radio requires clear circuits and the right tuning to capture a specific station, doesn't our own inner receiver depend on a certain integrity of consciousness, a receptivity? What happens then, energetically and spiritually, when we knowingly introduce a substance designed, in part, to alter those very internal circuits, to shift our state of awareness? Reflect for a moment, honestly, within yourself. How would you describe the clarity of your own signal lately? Is the broadcast coming through crisp and clear, or does it feel muffled, intermittent, perhaps lost in noise? Let's delve into the immediate energetic shifts that occur when alcohol enters our system. It's not just about the physical sensations or the change in mood. Something more subtle, yet profoundly impactful, begins to happen almost instantly. As alcohol interfaces with our brain chemistry, it simultaneously ripples through our energy field, that subtle body of energy that surrounds and permeates our physical form. Think of this immediate effect as an energetic fog rolling in. Even a small amount can begin to cloud the lens of our perception. The sharp clarity needed to perceive the delicate signals of intuition starts to soften, to blur. It's like trying to navigate by looking through a window that has suddenly become misted over. The general shapes might still be visible, but the finer details, the crucial nuances, are lost. This fog affects both our mental acuity and our emotional sensitivity, the very faculties we rely on to interpret our inner guidance. This leads us to the concept of vibration. In spiritual understanding, everything possesses a vibration, an energetic frequency. States like peace, love, and clarity resonate at higher, finer frequencies. States like fear, confusion, or sluggishness vibrate at lower, denser frequencies. Alcohol, despite any initial feelings of euphoria it might induce, fundamentally tends to densify our overall energy field. It lowers our vibrational frequency. Why does this matter for intuition? Because our soul radio, our capacity to receive clear guidance from our higher self or spirit, operates most effectively at those higher, clearer frequencies. When our energy becomes denser, it's simply harder to resonate with, to tune into, those subtle, high-frequency transmissions of intuitive wisdom. Consider the nature of intuition itself. It often manifests as a quiet whisper, a gentle nudge, a subtle feeling in the body, a fleeting image in the mind's eye. It requires a certain stillness, a certain sensitivity to be perceived accurately. Alcohol, conversely, tends to amplify the louder noises within us. It can heighten emotional reactions, whether positive or negative, creating internal turbulence. It simultaneously acts as a kind of anesthetic, numbing our sensitivity to the very subtleties where intuition speaks. Imagine trying to hear a delicate whisper while standing in the middle of a loud, boisterous party. The whisper might still be there, but the surrounding noise makes it nearly impossible to discern. Perhaps you recognize this in your own experience. Think about the feeling the morning after consuming alcohol, even moderately. That sense of mental haziness, the slight disconnect, the difficulty concentrating. These are physical reflections of that lingering energetic fog. Or consider those moments when you had a brilliant insight, a creative idea, or a meaningful dream during an evening involving alcohol, only to find it frustratingly elusive, like smoke slipping through your fingers, upon waking. That fading clarity is a direct echo of the energetic interference at play, a sign that the connection to that finer intuitive knowing was temporarily obscured. Beyond the immediate fog, regular engagement with alcohol can have deeper, more cumulative effects on our energetic system, particularly on what many traditions refer to as our energy field, our aura, or our natural psychic shield. This shield isn't just a metaphor, it's a subtle boundary that helps us maintain our own energetic integrity, filtering external influences, and keeping our inner space relatively clear. When this natural shield is consistently weakened through substances that lower our vibration, it's like leaving the doors and windows of our home wide open in a storm. We become more susceptible to absorbing the energetic weather around us, the anxieties of others, the negativity in certain environments, the collective thought forms swirling in the ether. This influx of external energy creates significantly more static on our soul radio, making it even harder to distinguish the clear signal of our own inner guidance amidst the cacophony of borrowed feelings and mental clutter. This brings us to a vital capacity for anyone on a spiritual path: spiritual discernment. True intuition, when received clearly, provides reliable guidance. It helps us differentiate between the authentic voice of our soul, the fearful whispers of the ego, the conditioned desires of our personality, and indeed, those external energies we might inadvertently pick up. Discernment is the ability to know what is truly ours and what is not, what guidance is aligned with our highest good, and what might lead us astray. Alcohol, by clouding the mind and lowering our vibrational clarity, severely compromises this essential faculty. It makes it difficult to feel the subtle yet distinct quality that differentiates true intuition from other impulses. Here, a word of caution is necessary, offered not to inspire fear, but awareness. Sometimes, in a state of weakened energetic boundaries, individuals might experience heightened sensitivity or perceive things they normally wouldn't. This unfiltered opening, however, can paradoxically lead not to clearer guidance but to distorted signals. Impressions received might be fragmented, emotionally charged, or mixed with external interference, leading to confusion or misinterpretation. This chaotic sensitivity can sometimes be mistaken for a surge in psychic ability, but it lacks the coherence, peace, and grounding clarity that characterize genuine intuitive knowing. True spiritual opening usually unfolds with increasing clarity and integration, not with heightened chaos and vulnerability. Consider also the realm of dreams. Our sleep, particularly the REM stage, is crucial not only for physical restoration, but also for subconscious processing and, for many, receiving profound intuitive messages and guidance. Alcohol significantly disrupts these natural sleep cycles, often suppressing REM sleep. The result? Dreams may become more fragmented, bizarre, harder to recall, or simply cease to offer the meaningful insights they otherwise might. The nightly dialogue with our deeper self gets interrupted, another channel for our soul radio potentially scrambled. So let this question settle within you. If the signal coming through our soul radio is potentially filled with static from external sources, and our very ability to discern the true message from the noise is compromised, how then can we truly trust the guidance we believe we are receiving? How do we know if it's the soul speaking, or just the echo of the interference? So now we arrive at the heart of the matter. We've acknowledged our innate human search for guidance, that deep need for direction on our path. We've explored intuition not as some vague concept, but as an energetic reality, our personal soul radio constantly broadcasting. And we've seen how substances like alcohol can act like dense fog or persistent static, obscuring the signal and weakening our ability to receive it clearly, even distorting the messages that do get through. Here, then, is the pivotal understanding, the moment of clarity that can shift everything. The challenge isn't that your intuition vanishes when you drink alcohol. It doesn't just switch off. Your inner wisdom, the voice of your soul, is always there, always transmitting its subtle guidance. The real issue lies with the receiver, with us. The interference isn't in the broadcast, it's in our ability to tune in clearly. Therefore, choosing to reduce or eliminate alcohol isn't about deprivation or punishment. It's about consciously choosing to clear the antenna, to reduce the static, to wipe the fog from the lens of your soul radio. It is an act of reclaiming your innate ability to hear. And what happens when that static begins to clear? What emerges from the silence is the unmistakable quality of true intuition. This is the key to discernment. Unlike the often loud, emotionally charged demands of the ego or the fearful whispers of anxiety, genuine intuition possesses distinct characteristics that you learn to recognize through clarity. It is often remarkably calm and neutral, even when delivering urgent guidance. It lacks the panic or pushiness of fear. It tends to be simple and direct, a clear knowing that doesn't always need elaborate justification or logical proof. Its essence feels expansive and encouraging. Even if it points towards a challenging change, the underlying feeling is one of alignment, of moving towards greater wholeness and spiritual growth, not constriction based on fear. And it can be quietly consistent, gently persistent. Like a soft drumbeat or a recurring theme in a dream, it will make itself known until acknowledged. Think about that for a moment. How different does that feel from the confusing internal noise many of us experience daily? This is the profound revelation. The most significant spiritual consequence of habitually numbing ourselves isn't some external judgment. It is the self-imposed disconnect from our own deepest wisdom, our most reliable inner guide. The journey towards clarity, towards sobriety in its broadest sense, being free from that which clouds our perception, is therefore not a path of loss, but a powerful act of recovering your inherent power. The power to listen, to discern, and to trust the wisdom that resides within your own being. So take heart. You possess this magnificent soul radio. It is part of your birthright as a conscious being. The task now is simply to learn how to keep the frequency clear, to maintain the equipment, and to consciously tune in to the broadcast that is always waiting for you. Understanding these energetic dynamics is enlightening, but knowledge truly blossoms into wisdom when applied. The journey towards clearer intuition doesn't require monumental leaps overnight. Rather, it begins with small, conscious shifts, simple acts of turning the dial towards greater awareness and self-connection. True self-development often unfolds in these incremental adjustments. So, let's ground this understanding in a single, accessible practice, you can weave into your daily life almost immediately. Think of it as the first gentle turn of the tuning dial on your soul radio. Let's call it the clarity pause. Here it is. The next time you feel the familiar urge, perhaps to reach for a drink, or maybe another form of escape like endless scrolling or comfort eating, specifically when prompted by feelings of stress, doubt, anxiety, or inner conflict. Or alternatively, when you face a decision, big or small, and feel uncertain. Just pause. Before you act on the impulse, simply stop. Take 3 slow, conscious breaths. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Gently place a hand over your heart, or perhaps on your lower belly, wherever you feel most centered. In the quiet space of that pause, silently ask within, what does my inner wisdom, my deeper self, feel about this situation, this choice, right now? Then, do nothing more than observe. Notice the very first sensation, image, word, or feeling that arises in response, however faint or fleeting it might be. Crucially, observe without judgment, without analyzing it immediately. Just notice. Why does such a simple pause hold power? Because it creates a precious gap. A space between the stimulus, the stressful feeling, the decision point, the habitual urge, and your usual reaction. In that space, you consciously bring your awareness back into your body, the very place where intuition often speaks most directly through subtle sensations. It's a fundamental act of training your inner listening muscle, flexing your capacity to tune into those quieter frequencies beneath the surface noise. Even if no clear answer emerges in those first few attempts, the practice itself is the victory. The very act of pausing, breathing, and turning your attention inward is a powerful statement. It's an honoring of your own inner knowing, a deliberate choice to cultivate connection rather than defaulting to distraction or numbing. It's that initial turn of the dial, signaling your intention to listen. So, the invitation is simple. Experiment with this clarity pause just once, perhaps today, perhaps this week. See what unfolds when you create that small, sacred space to listen before you react. So let us gather these threads. Remember, while substances like alcohol can indeed introduce static and fog into the frequency of your soul radio, the inherent power to achieve clarity, to truly tune into your own inner wisdom, always resides within you. As the mystic poet Rumi suggested, listen to the silence inside the illusion of the world, and you will remember the lesson of infinity. Your intuition is that whisper within the silence, the voice of your soul beneath the noise. In the quiet sanctuary of clarity, you can truly hear it. As we conclude our time together for now, carry this simple question with you. Let it gently resonate in your awareness. What one small step, perhaps inspired by our discussion today, can you take to cultivate a little more inner silence, allowing you to better hear what your soul already knows? If this exploration has resonated with you, if it has offered a measure of clarity or sparked a deeper curiosity about your own inner connection, we invite you to express that by clicking the like button. Your gesture helps this wisdom reach others who may also be seeking it. And if you wish to continue exploring themes of spiritual growth, self-knowledge, and expanding consciousness with us, consider subscribing to Mystic Sages and activating the notification bell. We'd be honored if you would share in the comments below. What was the single most valuable insight you gained from our time together today? Or perhaps, how does your own intuition feel when it speaks clearly to you? Your reflections enrich our shared journey. Trust in your inherent capacity to listen. Your inner wisdom is patiently waiting. Until our paths cross again on this journey of discovery.